Okay, Aries, this one's for you. Sorry about all the ummings. Sorry about saying sorry. It's not an Aries thing. This is Tarot Lumination. This is you, Aries. This is your general report for December 2017. You know the routine. Some of you have done this before, and it's a convention. You just watch your sun, moon, and rising because it seems to work. Okay, and then you reinterpret the whole thing and tell your own story. Okay, Tarot Illumination is not a fortune teller. We're just reading energy, and Tarot Illumination is just telling a story, that the story that comes through here, through the channel, so to speak. Ha ha ha. That was sort of a joke, kind of, maybe. The cards were already pre-shuffled, well shuffled in advance, but I like to go to the last second so that you're a witness. No jumpers, no flyers, no oracles, not even any reversals. Sorry. I like to keep it really, really simple. The stories are strong enough as they are with the cards the way they were originally made. And I don't want to confuse anybody, let alone Tarot Illumination. So, for you, Aries, we're still living with Uranus and Aries in the very last degrees for the next 6 months or so. So you might have been feeling an awful lot of like shocking moments of awakening over the last 7 years or so. And there's only a few months left. Let's whatever it is, 6 or 7 months left. So it's going to be very, very interesting time, especially when it gets to springtime next year. You're probably really going to feel it. I don't mean to scare you. Mars in Libra is going to be moving out of your 7th house, I believe, shortly. So that could calm things down a little bit, you know, for you Aries, because you've been under so much pressure with the polarity stuff going on and that huge square from Pluto and Capricorn and stuff like that. Okay. Anyway, Jupiter in Scorpio is now hovering through your 8th house, you know, deep intimacy, shared resources, deep soul healing, okay? And a lot of other things that happen in the 8th house, which we can talk about another time. All right, so let's just go for it. Let's see what happens. Let's see what the story is for you, Aries. We're going to cut. If I missed out anything that I should have said, I'm sorry. Oh yeah, I remember now. I was going to say, you know, some of you guys like to do that cross-watching thing. Like if you've got others that you want to read for as well, just go ahead and do that and have fun. All right, so this is going to be the pulsing heart at the very core of you, Aries. You might not even know what it's saying, but your body likes to talk to you. Over here is legacy energy, history, baggage, the past, whatever you want to call it. It's whatever you're bringing in here with you. It could be from years. It could be from just the last couple of weeks or the last, you know, lunar cycle or something. This is the energy of now. It's not could be, it is. And this is the energy as you, you know, move through this time period thing, this phenomenon called time, and we call it December. And you're always in the now. Even though there's a past and a sensation of a future, you're always in the now. And that's where you make your decisions. Yes. Okay? Because it's decisions that lead to self-empowerment. Abdication of your decisions leads to disempowerment. But of course, you do have the right to decide not to decide because that's a decision in itself. So that's not an abdication. Okay? And so with the energy of risk-taking, there's always a question. What if it works out? What if it doesn't? That's over here. Meanwhile, how do we make these decisions most effectively in the way that's most loving for you, Aries, so that it's the most loving thing for others? Because that's kind of how it works according to the laws of attraction. If you think that life happens to you, then this card would feel more like fate, and you're just reacting. And that would be like, oh, where did that come from? Otherwise, this would be consequential energy from your decisions. This would be like your heart energy of fear and joy, like what if I make the right decision? What if I didn't? And this is kind of like the prospects, you know? And under here, we're going to look at the circumstantial energy in just a moment. I'd like to think of it as the weather and how that permeates the atmosphere of this particular time period. And, you know, Aries, you're going to make the best of it like we all do. We have to. You're not a victim of the weather, okay? I just want you to see this heart shape here. I like to think of it as a journey. You know, there's the heart. Can you see that? That's you. And that's you at the pulsing core. All right. That's you. This is you in your journey. Okay. Like so. if you want to think of it in terms of time. All right, let's go. Here we are. With the Five of Pentacles, you might feel that sense of like, oh, what did I do wrong? Maybe circumstances are telling you that there are certain conditions around you that might leave you feeling as though there's a possibility of being left out and rejected, lost in the cold, perhaps due to decisions made in the past. These two characters didn't just get here randomly. These two characters, it's very likely that they've been with each other a long time. And, we are all innocent to some degree, and sometimes we make really, really big, important decisions in our innocence that lead to these kind of conditions. And it's okay. They're still here for each other, and the resources are still there for them. It's just that they get wrapped up in the realization of their own failings and their own weaknesses. And you might be getting a glimpse of that, Aries, during this time period, especially with the Jupiter and Scorpio there up at the 8th house of deep, deep soul intimacy, realizing that some decisions in life really, really are contingent upon like the people with whom we share ourselves at the most deepest soul level. Because, like when people get married and they think, wow, this is great. We did the right thing. And it's probably the biggest decision in some person's life. And then something goes wrong and you realize it was the worst decision you ever made. And, the world is full of people who've made really big, important decisions with all the best intentions that turn out to be the worst outcomes. And that's just what happens in life. And sometimes we don't learn that except through the energy of relationship, profound, divine soul relationship, deep intimacy, which is a very powerful theme right now with Jupiter and Scorpio, trining very closely with Neptune and Pisces in your 12th house, Aries. So it's very much about healing, very, very much about bringing out anything that's very, very deeply buried at the soul level that needs to be exposed so that it can be healed, okay? So don't be scared of this. Please treat this as a blessing, okay? Five of Pentacles as an awareness of how and where we can go wrong with ourselves and each other in decision making and where it leads to in outcomes. So you might be having a blast right now, Aries, but you might also be noticing the that energy field that we just described. Let's go into the heart here. Let's have a look. Okay, and as much, okay, let's just say the Five of Swords here, as much as your deepest, let's say, waking intentions may be to, be that Aries, you're still under a lot of pressure, with the planets right now. So you might be fighting a losing battle, trying to maintain a version of Aries that is basically becoming obsolete as the new Aries unfolds. And, why fight evolution? Why try to tell a volcano that it's not supposed to be a volcano? Why tell a tectonic plate, excuse me, please, I don't like what you're doing. Do you mind backing off? How do you, when a tsunami arrives, you can't just say, excuse me, I was having my lunch. No, we're talking about powers that are above and beyond you, Aries, and it's just a question of how you deal with it. How do you respond? And as an Aries, being a warrior, a fighter, a brave, courageous fighter, you might be just naturally primed to fight and fight and fight to prevail. But sometimes certain battles are futile because you can't fight a volcano. You can't fight a hurricane. You can't tell a forest fire, excuse me, stop. That's my house. Leave that one alone. You can burn the rest down, but leave that one alone. It doesn't work that way, Aries. So your heart might be really, really pounding, fighting, and being very deeply determined to hold on and prove that you're right through these periods right now. But it's almost a kind of a waste of time. And deep down your heart knows that, okay? The Five of Swords here knows that the energy of futility is here. It's just like it's a lose-lose situation. You try to fight those wars, they are just going to waste their time on you, and you're going to waste your time on them. And it's just not worth it. And your heart knows that. And it's becoming very aware of that circumstantially right now. So that's okay. Good for you. What are you bringing in with you? Okay. Let's say innocence. Innocence in these matters, perhaps, especially because Even though this is not a relationship reading, uh, we're always dealing with the healing power of love here at Tarot Illumination, okay? It's never far away from the conversation. And so it might be that you're bringing in a kind of a stark, well, not a stark awareness, but a very like gentle awareness that whatever you've been doing in life, how you've been battling through this, battling through that, maintaining what you think of as your integrity in this situation with these people in that world for these reasons, which are right according to Aries, that's fine because that's how you are. There might be a stark realization coming into it, a little bit humbling, like, to be honest with you, like when you go into like, chill out and rest for a while from taking on the world, you realize that it's almost like admitting to oneself that you might be innocent in certain matters, especially when it comes to matters of the heart. You might be all fired up in your head about what to do and how to do it and why and when with who and everything. But deep down, it's the heart that counts. And if your heart is pulsing here, pulsing with the energy of lose lose and futility and proving a point for the sake of it, even though there's no win at the end of it, and you start to feel that pulsing in your body, that can be a wake up call. And this is what you're bringing in with you. And this would be an admission that it's almost like, being the divine warrior, the sacred warrior, and then realizing that actually, um, if I'm honest with myself, I'm a little bit confused and perplexed about these things. And, the hows and the whys, especially when it comes to the love force and how it moves through my life. And that's not something, let's say, pretend I'm an Aries and say that's not something I really want to brag about or talk about, because you don't want to reveal any of the chinks in your armor or any of your weaknesses. As the Aries, you're out there, you're right in front, you're in the front lines. You're the one who takes the knocks and the hits. You're the one who goes where no one else wants to go when it comes to fighting for what's right. Someone's got to do it. But deep down, you have a tender heart and soul like everybody else, and you might just be coming to that shocking realization. Uranus and Aries, shock and awe. Oh my gosh. Being brought into awareness through the simplicity of reflection through relationship. Mars in Libra, and then moving into Mars in Scorpio, amplifying the Jupiter in Scorpio thing about deep soul intimacy. Oh no, I thought I knew. Anyway, in the now, what have we got? More cups, Aries. What's going on? More Aries. It's like, because Aries, you're so pure. Okay, you're so direct and pure. There's no ambiguity with Aries. Okay, you know where you stand. If Aries is angry, they're angry. If they're happy, they're happy, and everybody knows about it. You're not trying to prove a point. It's just very pure. It's very simple. And right now, in the moment, you might be realizing that, wow, there's still so much to learn, but also the beautiful realization that you still actually do have a lot to offer. But this is all, my feeling is it's all stark realization. It's almost like shock. It's just like, wow, I'm so dumb in some areas, but I know I have so much. I'm confused. Like, how am I supposed to do this? What do we do with this thing called love? Love is as love does. That's what they say on Tarot Illumination, be loving, be loved. You are loving and you are loved. Okay, that's great. And you're realizing, like, I'm trying. I thought I was already doing that. And you realize, like, when you do those, like, exercises and whatever you do to keep yourself in Aries condition, like strong fighting condition, you do get those glimpses that in the moments, in the nows, that you do have all that. It's just that you might be very innocent in about the expression, about what to do with it. How am I supposed to carry this? How am I supposed to share this love energy? Because it's there, you've got it. Is anybody out there? Anybody hearing me? Does anybody listen? Does anybody want any of this? I've fought long and hard for this. I'm willing to battle for this. I go to battle for this. I go to battle for other people for this stuff. And maybe I have made mistakes. Maybe I have messed up in matters of the heart and big decisions. But, you know, I'm innocent too, just like you guys. And I'm still okay to fight and go on. And this is like the warrior with a very, very big heart. Very, very, very big, loving heart, who would, it's that energy of like, there's a word for it, about the last thing, like a really, it's like a sumo thing, I don't know, but the last thing a really like super trained like fighter, warrior, samurai, whatever, the last thing they actually want to do is ever go to war. The whole idea is to never do it. Become so highly skilled, so capable that you never actually go to war. Because in the end, what really, really counts is love. Okay? And then figuring out what to do with it becomes the real battle. Who is willing to receive? Who's ready, willing, and able? Are you ready, willing, and able? Do you feel worthy, deserving, and open? Good question, okay? Because this is where we go to making the decisions, okay? So over here, it's like when you're making decisions in this moment here, and in this moment of like, what am I supposed to do with all this? I know I've got it. I'm an Aries. I'm full of it. I'm a very loving being. I am loving and I am loved. It's just that I'm kind of innocent about how the process works. It's okay. Make decisions anyway, okay? Even in your innocence, make decisions anyway. It takes a lot of courage to make decisions, even big decisions, when there's not a lot of information, when you don't know the answers, you don't know the outcome. The whole idea is taking the risk anyway, making the decisions, knowing that there's your life is at stake here. You know, in the little things and the big things, the outcomes, making the decision, who am I going to share my energy with? Who am I going to share my life with? Who am I going to allow to share their energy with me? Who am I going to allow to share their lives with me? Make a decision, because holding all that energy in your hand, you can't hold it there forever. You have to make decisions and move on, because that's how you activate destiny, activate your own life, and manifest your own life. So in the moment, the decision card here is all about making decisions anyway. Okay, I know you have the right to decide not to decide, and that's a good defense move, sure. But right now, in this particular reading, it's a general report reading. The whole idea is to make bold decisions anyway, despite knowing your own failings, your own weaknesses, your own innocence, despite knowing the potential outcome that, well, what if I mess up? You know, this is just circumstantial energy, a reflection back to you from your outer world about how things are messed up in some ways because of previous decisions made in innocence, but now you are more aware, okay? How do you make the decisions in the most loving way for you, okay? You look at what really counts. With the Ten of Pentacles, you just look at the evidence. It's so, so simple. Basically, it's like trusting the most simple things. Like if something smells fake and phony, it's fake and phony. If you don't trust them, walk away. If they don't trust you, that's their loss. Well, look at what counts. Look at what really, really counts. Like the gold in people, the gold in you, the values, the uh, the the uh, the wealth of a situation, a circumstance, people, and what really, really resonates as true and valuable. Valuable. Who do you truly value? Who truly values you? Who do you think of as your family? Who includes you in their family, where you are cherished and loved as a highly valued member, as a resource. It's like, it's very, very tangible evidence. I'm not talking about concepts and ideas and theories and missions and visions. I'm talking about hard, hard evidence. Do you love me or not? I love you. Do you love me? Prove it. Okay. Thank you very much. If there's something that's not working out, make a decision accordingly. Make the decisions anyway, but make the decisions in the way that's most loving for you, to bring the love to you. Love yourself first by doing just focusing on the values of the situation and the people and your own values. Okay. Like really simple, warrior type values. What really, really counts: honor, respect, trust, courage, patience, vigilance, those kind of energies. Not what can I get out of you? What are you trying to get out of me? I'm talking about deep core values. Okay. What does that bring us? Okay. Like an awakening, more awakening. Okay. With the Page of Swords here, my feeling is that once you, Aries, decide to, let's just say, kind of get out of yourself and stop like fighting your own internal battles. Get out of yourself, realizing there's a whole other thing going on out there, and you are going to be a participant, and you're making decisions anyway, even when you don't know the outcome. That's the whole thing about decisions anyway. You don't really know what the outcome's going to be. Somebody has to make a decision. Somebody has to make the hard decisions. Somebody who's brave and strong and knows the simple, hard truth of things. So what that takes you, where that takes you is into a place of vigilance, where you have to kind of wear the it's like the simple garb. It's a very, very simple. Uh, it's so simple. It's so pure. It's just a person, in a classroom or a meeting or an activity or an event or a circumstance where they smell something fake, and then they raise their hand and they say, you know what? Something smells here. Something's not right about this. And everybody looks at them because everybody's all, drinking the Kool-Aid. They're already locked into like what you're supposed to do. And you know that there's something wrong out here. And you are acting as the warrior from love, making a bold, brave decision. You don't have to explain it to anybody. Your gut core values tell you there's something wrong here, people. I'm just telling you. And even if everyone's staring at you and frowning and pointing fingers back at you saying, how dare you? How dare you accuse the rest of us of being the ones who are out of whack? Who else is going to do it? Who else, Aries, except Aries, has the courage to do it? So that kind of puts you in your place. Not pushes you, but it brings you into your honor, your dignity, your nature. Okay? Now, when you make these scary decisions here, when you're making decisions anyway, even if you're not really sure about, the whats or the whys, what could happen or not. So what can happen is that it might put you in situations or where you have to give up and walk away from, like a situation like this. Like if you were going along with everyone else just to get along, and you realize, according to the true core values, what really, really counts, that there's something really out of whack and it's not respectful, it's not self-loving, then you might have to do the sacrificial thing and walk away. You might have been a member of a group or a club or something, or like a job or whatever it might be, and you realize, wait a minute, there's something really phony going on here. It doesn't work for me anymore. I did all this. I was like, I was the number one blah blah, and I was a member of this, and I realized like this isn't working anymore, man. I'm out of here. I've got to move on. I love you guys. I'm just sorry. I've kind of my values are in question here, and I'm not willing to, compromise on my values. And I still think you're awesome, but for me, Aries, I have to move on, and I'm not even sure where or how or why or when. So this is kind of a mixed thing. It's like, what if you mess up on your decisions over here? You still might have to move on the awareness of higher spiritual awakenings unfolding for you. And what if you do make a really good, bold, successful decision? It can still mean you have to move on and leave a lot behind that you loved, okay, in order for your own spiritual unfolding. So it's almost like the same card, shadow and light, joy or sorrow, risk or reward, either way. Where does that take us? Okay, bam-o, to your destiny. Look at it that way. Let's keep it very, very simple, super, super simple, straightforward. If you look at the Wheel of Fortune and you understand that you're always in a cycle of ups and downs, flow, intimacy, separation, learning, and then doing what you do with your learning, then coming back when you reach the level of innocence, realizing there's so much more to learn. Always, always making decisions, because it's making the decisions that activates the Wheel of Fortune into a constant state of flow. Because every time you stall out and refuse to make decisions or abdicate your decisions, then the Wheel of Fortune stops doing this. It just kind of goes, it's like a big, Magic Mountain ride, roller coaster, and it just grinds to a halt somewhere in the middle of the track, on the ups or the downs, because something's wrong. And it's because somebody said, they pulled the emergency brake because they got scared. You can't do that, Aries. You have to make decisions and keep going anyway, okay? And trusting and knowing that it's all working for you ultimately. All right. No matter the pain of walking away, because this is what counts. All right. All right. I'm just going to put this here and leave it, and then leave that as your reading. Thank you so much. Make the best of it, and see you guys again soon. All right. Bye.